Right, hi again. It's Bob from Greybeard Models. Welcome back to the channel. Um, right, so first things first, I'd like to put out there a massive thank you to everybody that commented on my last video, excuse me, um, about losing the mojo and all of that stuff. I got some really great comments from you guys out there, some great support. Um, it was really nice to get your comments and suggestions and guys admitting that we all have these periods where the mojo goes, and yeah, I just like to say massive thank you to you all. Really do appreciate your comments and the support you've given me. So massive thanks. Um, First things first, I've got a shop card that came through from Pete's Model Car Customs, and I'll get over to the bench and we'll.
Right, first things first was I'd like to give a shout out to Pete's Model Car Customs up in Norwich. He's well, he's my brother, and he's got a neat little channel going. Does loads and loads of scratch building stuff, and he sent me these down because I won a competition that he didn't announce. Made a little bit of a faux pas on one of his videos, and I picked him up on it. So he sent me down a couple of stickers and one of his cards. His cards are really good because he draws them all himself. They're all freehand drawn, and yeah, I mean it's if you get a card from him, it's a one-off. So yeah, look out for his channel. I'll put a link in the video below, and yeah, like and subscribe his channel. He does some really good work. Anyway, moving on.
So anyway, so that's the card from my brother Pete. Check his channel out. Really good channel. He does lots of scratch building stuff, lots of different techniques and stuff. Worth looking at. So that's that. Now we get on to get it right way up, Bob. Right, we get on to this, and got a few bits of video to show you. So onwards to that.
So here we are. So I've decided basically to get on with this, and so I've made a start on it, and I'll move this box out of the way and I'll show you where I've got to and a couple of little things that might trip you up if you're not careful. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Oh, so right, I've gone onto the plane mat, so we shouldn't have any issues with that. So the first thing that I did with this kit was actually look at the colour scheme. In fact, I didn't even look at the colour scheme. I looked on the side of the box lid down here, where they give you a list of the colours. So my first job was to check out if I had the paint in stock, which is one of the things. Oh, getting all complicated here, Bob. Right. Yeah. So one of the first things I do is look at the paint list and then have a look to see what I've got in stock, because I've got a vast array of Vallejo colours, and it's like, well, colour match, and let's see what we've got. So the main colours that you need in this kit are silver, French blue, bright red, white, trainer yellow, and matte black. So you've got the hum roll numbers there. I actually went through the whole stock of paint that I've got, and yeah, I've got paints that will match those colours. So in the Vallejo equivalent and the Vallejo Air, so I can airbrush, and the aluminium that I think the silver is basically to hum roll colours that Airfix have used, are basically to replicate aluminium. I don't think they actually painted the thing silver. I doubt it. Or I don't actually think it was made of silver. Well, it was made of aluminium, so there you go. So looking at the build, so one of the first things to do is there's a couple of things that are a little bit tricky that I spotted straight away. First of all, these two parts, which are the if you look at the actual layout of the hovercraft in this picture, it's these parts here. They're aluminium on the outside, but actually white on the inside, but they don't mention that. So, you know, be aware of that. These are all white, they're white, that's white inside and out. And also this part here, which is the base of the impeller, that's white as well. So you've got to paint that white before you can put the two halves together, because you can't fit that in after you put that on. So that has to be painted first. So that's currently sitting on the bottom half, part 2, and I've got that in place. So what I'm going to do is paint this white, and then once that's painted, then the two halves can go together, and the whole thing can then be, you know, that can be fitted together however it does. Come on, Bob. And then that can be masked off, and then the outside of this can be painted, or actually I can paint it before I put it together, but yeah. But yeah, so that's just watch out for that. The other thing is this collar, which is these two halves, they actually will pass over the won't pass over the fins, all right, on the impeller. So what I worked out was that, put that together, and then once I've got that together like that, that painted white, yeah, that can't, if that goes on, you can't get the collars on. So what I've decided to do is put those together. They can then go into place there, and then the impeller can go in over the top, and then the collar goes in over the top of that. So it'll all work, it'll all go in that way. So anyway, that's that part. The other thing is, I noticed that on these parts on the side they say paint these silver, when in fact they're blue. They're aluminium on this side, on these parts there and there, but they're blue on the outer parts. Excuse me. So that's that. The other thing I found was when I put these two halves together on the front of the hovercraft body, there was quite a sizable gap, so I have put some filler in that and having to deal with that. And then the rest is fairly straightforward, adding parts onto the body. So at the moment what I'm doing is just prepping parts, getting them ready for paint, and then we'll do all of that and we'll come back and do some assembly. Well, phase 1, a few of the bits that have been given a coat of white primer. So that's the internal of that section there, and obviously the top intake there, and the bottom of the rotors, and the rotors as well. And in case you're wondering, then the white primer I use is basically the white version of my favourite primer, which is the Mr. Finishing Surfacer 1500 white. Bloody good stuff, as good as the black, but great for white or light areas. Good on figures. You know, if you want to do a primer in black and then a primer in light, in white, this is equally as good. So that's what I use. So on to the next bit, and I'll come back to you in a bit. Right, so there's a couple of things that let's move that glare away. Right, there's a couple of things that pose a little bit of a problem, not a great deal. Let's put that out there for a bit. Right, first thing was this collar. Now, look at the instructions. The collar is these two parts here, right, and they join together like this. However, there's a nasty seam between the two. So we've got these all taped up and then set together. The other problem that we had with this is the inside of this. The surface really wasn't well molded. It wasn't smooth at all. So what I've done is I've sealed them inside with our favourite material, Mr. Surfacer 500. I've given it a coat of that. That's set overnight. So what I'm hoping now is that I can sand this down and get a really nice smooth inside finish to it. The reason being is it actually sits into the bottom of that, so I wanted to make sure that there was quite a nice smooth colour. But by the way, I've got to give that another coat of paint. So that's that bit. So this is just taking time for everything to sort of set and go off. I want the Mr. Surfacer to be nice and firm, so that I can just sand that down and have a complete smooth surface. And the other thing was the front of the cab. Now the front of the cab on the instructions is these two pieces here, that and there. So you've got a clear piece and the sort of cockpit base there. Now the only problem with it, well, not the only problem, but the problem with it is it's not a very good fit. It doesn't line up very well. There's a bit of a step here, and looking at the pictures that I've got, there doesn't appear to be a step there. I've looked at some reference photographs. There doesn't appear to be a step there. So you know, it's like I can run my fingernail up there and it just hits against the clear bit. So what I might do is put a piece of 10 thou or something plastic card over the top of this, just so that it has a smooth sort of join. The other thing is that there's horrible gaps in here. I've stuck the clear part in place. Actually, clear part isn't. It's actually quite nicely moulded. It's quite clear. There's a little bit of distortion on there, but I mean, not bad at all. Can work with it. So now, in terms of painting, this area here is supposed to be blue, and obviously the window framing is supposed to be blue, and then on the side there's supposed to be window framing and a clear section here, but there's no evidence of that in the mould at all. So what I'll probably end up doing is either just put a mask on there and then just paint the outer side, or what I'm really considering doing is adding some extra plastic strip, and then create my own sort of window frame, if you like, around there, which I think might look better. And again, it's not quite, you know, it doesn't quite all line up, but hey, you know, I mean, this tooling, you know, from 1960 something or other, is great, you know. I mean, it's not bad. So anyway, we've got to do some detailing work on that, so I'll get on and do that, and get all of these surfaces all lined up and try and get maybe you know, some window framing around there, just to create that, and then we'll come back to you. Well, we've had a few steps forward, and as you can see, it's coming together. It's I tell you what, this is a really old kit, and it's a really straightforward, simple kit, really. But because things don't line up, things have got loads of flash on, some of the holes, fixing holes aren't lined properly, stuff like that. I think it's probably one of those kits that gave Airfix a bad name. It's not impossible to do, of course it isn't. There's other people on YouTube who've built them, but it's tricky. So we've got to this stage. I've got a few more bits to put on to get it totally finished, decals and all that whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video here, and then we'll come back when it's all finished and all prettified and alright, so thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, bye for now.